Okay, I think I'll get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar. Thank you for your interest in the U.S. Department of Energy's Office of Technology Transitions and in the Energy Program for Innovation Clusters, or EPIC, Funding Opportunity Announcement, or FOA. I'm Catherine Harshani in the Office of Technology Transitions, and I'm the EPIC Program Manager. I'd like to draw your attention to the email address on the upper left-hand side of this slide, epicfoa-ott@hq.doe.gov. This is the official mailbox to use for all of your questions about the FOA during the entire process. Please do not contact OTT individuals directly with questions, including myself. All questions received at this mailbox are posted publicly, anonymously, in the question and answer section of the FOA page on OTT Exchange. The official answers to your questions will typically be posted within 1 business week. Please be careful not to submit any language that might be business sensitive, proprietary, or confidential. If you have questions during this webinar, you send them to the email address on this slide and we'll post the answers on OTT Exchange. Alternately, you can type in your questions in the chat field as they come up, and we will compile them and answer them on Exchange. Again, please be careful not to submit any language that might be business sensitive, proprietary, or confidential. Once again, we will not be answering questions during the webinar. Instead, we will be posting all questions and answers to the OTT Exchange after the webinar. Before we get started, a few words from OTT Principal Deputy Director Marcos Gonzalez Harsha. Marcos?
Hi, Catherine. Thanks very much, and welcome to everyone on the call and to those that'll watch this subsequently as a recording. Hoping that our format here of capturing all questions and answers in written form for everybody will be helpful for everyone with interest in this exciting funding opportunity announcement. So again, welcome. I'm going to leave the detail walkthrough to my colleagues here, Catherine, Melissa, Steve, others. But did just want to briefly just share a few thoughts on this. Whether you're an accelerator, incubator, or any one of the other terms that are bandied about here, all are very much welcome, and all are really critical parts of the ecosystem we're trying to help seed here. As folks know, I believe, the Department of Energy, we're in the business of tech development, whether that's through our national labs or through our partners that we collaborate on through funding opportunity announcements, others. Some folks work directly with our national labs. We're ultimately in this tech development space and ultimately in the game of seeding innovation. But as you all know better than most, translating that innovation to the marketplace is very challenging, especially so when it comes to the energy sector and in particular hardware, which is of course a topic here of particular interest. And for that reason, your role as incubators, accelerators is indispensable. Indispensable in not only just seeding the startups of the future in the energy space, but ultimately from a departmental and national perspective and helping to achieve objectives of climate change mitigation, of efficiency, competitiveness, job creation, et cetera. So if we're in the game of seeding the innovation, you guys are ultimately in the game of empowering that innovation and helping startups and other technologists get the product of their great efforts out into the marketplace, get it commercialized. And so through this FOA, we hope to empower you, the empowerers, empower you to help make the system more robust, and we're really excited to see that happen. So with that, I'll turn it over, turn it back to Catherine. Thanks.
Thank you, Marcos. Before we get into the FOA, a few housekeeping matters. We are recording the webinar and we'll post it on Exchange at this website, https://ott-exchange.energy.gov/. Please let us know using the chat or question feature if you can't hear us as we now read this information. In the interest of covering a lot of information, we will keep everyone muted during the webinar. Again, you may ask questions at any time using the chat or question feature. OTT will compile them and then answer them in the Q&A on Exchange. So some more general information. No information other than that provided in the funding opportunity announcement will be discussed in the webinar. There are no particular advantages or disadvantages to the application evaluation process with respect to participating on the webinar today. Your participation is completely voluntary. All applicants are strongly encouraged to carefully read the EPIC funding opportunity announcement, FOA DE FOA 0002425, and adhere to the stated submission requirements. This presentation summarizes the FOA's contents. If there are any inconsistencies between the FOA and this presentation or statements from DOE personnel, the FOA is the controlling document. Applicants should rely on the FOA language and seek clarification from OTT at epicfoa-ott@hq.doe.gov. The agenda for this presentation is as follows. The anticipated schedule, FOA description, topic area, award information, statement of substantial involvement, cost sharing, eligibility, FOA timeline, letters of intent, full applications, merit review and selection process, and registration requirements. We encourage you to have a copy of the FOA in front of you for reference as we go through the presentation. This slide shows the anticipated schedule for the FOA. OTT released the FOA on October 29th, and we are conducting the informational webinar now. The deadlines are as follows. Submission deadline for letters of intent is December 9th, 2020 at 5 p.m. Eastern. The submission deadline for questions is January 19th, 2021, 5 p.m. Eastern. The submission deadline for full applications is February 3rd, 2021 at 5 p.m. Eastern. The expected date for OTT selection notifications is April 8th, 2021. Expected timeframe for award is sometime between April and May 2021. We will cover the FOA's requirements later in this presentation. So the FOA description or purpose. The U.S. Department of Energy, DOE's Energy Program for Innovation Clusters, or EPICS, Funding Opportunity Announcement, or FOA, seeks to fund the most creative, comprehensive, and impactful innovation accelerating organizations that support energy and related hardware technology development and testing in regional innovation clusters, or geographic concentrations of specialized skills, industries, and technology sectors. Innovation accelerating, entrepreneurially focused organizations, often referred to as accelerators or incubators, are critical to the growth of an innovation economy. These organizations help entrepreneurs accelerate the launch, growth, and scale of their businesses, ultimately resulting in the commercialization of new technologies and business models, and development of jobs in the United States. Through this FOA, the Office of Technology Transitions, or OTT, seeks to support the formation and development of regional clusters, supporting entrepreneurs and startups by funding innovation accelerating organizations that demonstrate the ability to advance energy and related technologies in collaboration with and with the support of state, regional, and or local entities. To accomplish these goals, the EPIC FOA anticipates funding 4 to 8 innovation accelerating organizations across the United States. OTT welcomes as applicants organizations that aid in the development of new business ventures, business incubators and accelerators, co-working startup communities, or any other organizations and multi-organizational applicants that self-identify as advocates for innovation and entrepreneurship. DOE helps power and secure America's future and ensure the country's role as a leader in science and technology. In 2015, the Secretary of Energy authorized the formation of OTT to be responsible for developing and overseeing delivery of DOE's strategic vision and goals for technology commercialization and engagement with the business and industrial sectors across the United States. OTT's mission is to expand the commercial impact and public benefit of DOE's research and development portfolio to advance the economic, energy, and national security interests of the nation. Energy startups and innovative technologies are critical to the growth of the energy economy in the United States and abroad. Startups strengthen existing industries and drive technology development and the creation of new industries, business model innovation, and job creation. Barriers to market entry for hardware or hard tech startups are particularly high and include large capital requirements, long development times, and the need to integrate into complex systems and supply chains. OTT recognizes that technology startups, particularly in the energy and related sectors, often require a variety of services over and above capital access, including mentorship, technology validation, business development, and connections to manufacturers. Innovation accelerating organizations provide important services to assist startups in getting to market and play an increasingly important role for companies and entrepreneurs. Next, Melissa Monk will walk you through the FOA's technology space and strategic goals. Melissa?
Thank you, Catherine, and thank you all for joining us today on the webinar. I'm Melissa Monk, an AST contractor supporting the Office of Technology Transitions. Drilling down into the FOA description, this slide and the next one cover technology space and strategic goals. The EPIC FOA seeks to recognize innovation accelerating organizations focused on stimulating energy and related hardware technology development and supportive clusters. FOA applicants should have a program to create or bolster innovation clusters through regional engagement, including with other private actors, both for and non-profit, as well as with state and local entities that will provide additional resources. It is DOE's hope that this funding opportunity will enable successful applicants to enhance their organization's resilience and operational sustainability. DOE encourages applications that incorporate novel approaches to or novel extensions of successful programs. Through this funding opportunity, DOE plans to fund, again, 4 to 8 innovation accelerating organizations to propose and implement regional engagement plans and guide companies as they scale to production and enhance our energy manufacturing competitiveness. An innovation accelerating organization's role and participation in its local ecosystem is a critical element to the FOA, as OTT recognizes the importance of clusters which increase productivity of area companies, drive the direction and pace of innovation, thus spurring future productivity growth, and stimulate the formation of new businesses, which expand and strengthen the cluster itself. Moving into the FOA's topic area, funding energy innovation can be difficult due to the technically challenging and capital-intensive processes of developing and commercializing next-generation energy hardware solutions. Those challenges present themselves across different industries, including transportation, manufacturing, and power generation. The private sector rarely researches, scales, and commercializes new energy and related technology because of legacy systems, information barriers, risk aversion, and scarce capital. Partnerships that leverage public support with private sector buy-in to encourage industry investment and connect innovators to resource networks are effective tools in building capacity and sustainable ecosystems. OTT identified a key set of characteristics associated with high-performing innovation accelerating organizations. These characteristics are divided into applicant characteristics and elements of the regional engagement strategy and implementation plan. High-scoring applications will have many, if not all, of these attributes. Applicant characteristics. These are not listed in order of importance. The entity's efforts are focused on the formation and growth of startups, with a concentration on companies that are developing or commercializing hardware for energy-related applications within DOE's portfolio. It employs a selective process to choose participating startups. It hosts regular networking opportunities for startups. It makes introductions to customers, partners, suppliers, advisory boards, and other players. It provides high-growth, tech-driven startup membership and commercialization assistance. It facilitates resource sharing and arrangements for startups. Its resources include virtual tools and networking capabilities. Continuing with the applicant characteristics, it provides startups with physical space to operate. It creates opportunities for startups to pitch ideas to investors, along with providing other capital formation avenues for startups. It assists member startups in obtaining angel money, seed capital, or structured loans. It has a strong mentorship program. It provides entrepreneurial training. It uses metrics and data analytics to track its performance. It provides access to legal and contract services. Moving into additional information about the FOA's topic area, in keeping with the goal of growing a community of innovators, applicants are encouraged to form multidisciplinary teams while developing their concept. DOE does not ask applicants to simply present strategies that replicate another successful model, because what works in one environment or region of the country may not work in another. OTT encourages applicants to examine existing successful models for best practices and lessons learned, and to submit creative ideas. The Regional Engagement Strategy Plan. The applicant is required to submit a regional engagement strategy with an implementation plan. The plan should identify the opportunity and outline clear goals with objectives for addressing the opportunity and how and when the applicant will execute its plan. If awarded, this will become the basis of the DOE-funded project. The plan should include a description with all available evidence to support how the applicant will foster a sustainable entrepreneurial environment through regional engagement. More details about the implementation plan requirements can be found in the FOA's section C42 technical volume. Proposals should provide a description of the applicant's organization, its regional engagement strategy, and its up to 3-year implementation plan. High-scoring proposals will have plans that include many, if not all, of the following attributes, which again are not listed in order of importance and are covered over the next several slides. Partnerships and/or working relationships with regional entities, including state and local government, as well as private sector entities, including for and non-profit. An energy hardware focus. Like the applicant, its support from regional stakeholders must concentrate on commercializing hardware within DOE's energy and related technology portfolio. Continuing on with the elements of the regional engagement strategy, and again, these are not listed in order of importance. Access to prototyping, testing, and demonstration facilities. Partnerships with local providers, in other words, labs, universities, private and public organizations, may provide additional demonstration or prototyping capabilities and equipment to member startups. For example, a partnership could be based on reduced fees or free access to facilities. A unique value proposition and description of the applicant organization's structural advantages in implementing the regional engagement plan. In other words, how the organization is built to be successful within a respective region. The applicant's specific, measurable, actionable, relevant, and time-bound or SMART strategy to develop or enhance regional innovation clusters. And wrapping up the elements of the regional engagement strategy, again, not listed in order of importance, the primary risk factors the applicant anticipates mitigating or overcoming to successfully implement the regional engagement strategy. A description of the plan's potential to be transferable to other innovation accelerating organizations or regions. A description of how the plan will yield an improvement in the organization's offering as a resource to local and regional entrepreneurs and innovators, and how it will boost the regional innovation ecosystem's productivity. A description of the key factors that define the applicant's regional cluster, such as available energy resources, economic challenges, shared energy challenges, needs and markets, and capabilities and opportunities for energy innovation. Metrics. OTT considers it critically important to track awardee performance metrics during the award period. Therefore, the awardee project director shall provide to OTT semi-annually data on the performance metrics listed here, which OTT intends to collect on EPIC awardees and the companies they serve during the period of performance. OTT shall use these data to measure the performance of the awardee in terms of productivity and output throughout the duration of the program. Awardee performance metrics, which continue on the next couple of slides, are number of companies served and types of technologies, including their names and locations. Number of graduated companies in business, merged or acquired. If merged, with whom? If acquired, by whom? Continuing on with the metrics, the number of companies served and graduated, the number of technologies vetted, the support provided by state, regional, and/or local entities, both as cash and in kind, the number of mentors or entrepreneurs in residence placed with the client, the number of partnership agreements facilitated between the awardee and national labs, universities, state and local entities, and other private companies, both for and nonprofit, as well as between the awardee's member startups and national labs, universities, state and local entities, and other private companies, again, both for and nonprofit. And wrapping up the list of awardee performance metrics, revenue generated by companies before and after being served, amount and description of follow-on private and public funding, equity, debt, grants, etc. Number of patents awarded, number of patents and disclosures filed, number of jobs created or retained by client or graduated companies, both full and part-time, including in low-income communities and among underrepresented entrepreneurs. And the average size measured by annual revenue and number of employees of startups at the beginning of the DOE project performance, as well as at the conclusion of it. OTT Program Manager Steve Palmieri will walk us through the next slides, beginning with information about non-responsive applications. Steve?
Thanks, Melissa. Hopefully everyone can hear me well. Good afternoon. So moving into some of the FOA's administrative aspects, first addressing non-responsive applications. Following types of applications will be deemed non-responsive and will not be reviewed or considered. These are listed in Section 3D of the FOA. Applications that fall outside the technical parameters specified in Sections 1A and 1B of the FOA. Applications that support proposed technologies that are not based on sound scientific principles, such as applications that violate the laws of thermodynamics. OTT expects to make approximately $4 million of federal funding available for new awards under this FOA. Individual awards may vary between approximately $500,000 and approximately $1 million. OTT intends to fund cooperative agreements under this FOA. Cooperative agreements include substantial involvement, which will be covered in the next slide. Statement of substantial involvement. Under cooperative agreements, there will be what is known as substantial involvement between OTT and the recipient during the performance of the project. OTT has substantial involvement in work performed under awards made as a result of this FOA. OTT does not limit its involvement to the administrative requirements of the award. Instead, OTT has substantial involvement in the direction and redirection of the technical aspects of the project as a whole. Substantial involvement includes, but is not limited to, the following, which continue on the next slide. OTT shares responsibility with the prime recipient for the management, project control, direction, and performance of the project. OTT will conduct monthly calls with grant recipients. OTT reviews and approves in a timely manner project plans, including project management, testing, and technology transfer plans, recommending alternative approaches if the plans do not address critical programmatic needs. OTT also participates in project management planning activities, including risk analysis to ensure OTT technology office requirements or limitations are considered in the performance of the work elements. OTT may intervene in the conduct of or performance of work under this award for programmatic reasons. Intervention includes the interruption or modification of the conduct or performance of project activities. OTT promotes and facilitates technology transfer activities, including disseminating office results through presentations and publications. OTT may redirect or discontinue funding projects that fail to fully and satisfactorily complete the work described in the Statement of Project Objectives as evaluated at the go, no-go decision points. OTT also participates in major project decision-making processes. The cost share requirements. Cost share requirement for this FOA is 20%. The cost share must be at least 20% of the total allowable cost for research and development projects, i.e., the sum of the government share, including FFRDC costs if applicable, and the recipient share of allowable costs equals the total allowable cost of the project and must come from non-federal sources unless otherwise allowed by law. See 2 CFR 200.306 and 2 CFR 910.130 for the applicable cost-sharing requirements. To assist applicants in calculating proper cost-share amounts, OTT has included a cost-share information sheet and sample cost-share calculation as appendices A and B to this FOA. Cost share contributions. The total budget presented in the application must include both federal, DOE, and non-federal cost share portions, thereby reflecting total project costs proposed. All costs must be verifiable from the recipient's records and be necessary and reasonable for the accomplishment of the project. Contributions must be specified in the project budget, verifiable from the prime recipient's records, necessary and reasonable for proper and efficient accomplishment of the project. If you are selected for award negotiations, every cost share contribution must be reviewed and approved in accordance and advance by the contracting officer and incorporated into the project budget before the expenditures are incurred. Please note, vendors and contractors may not provide cost share. Any partial donation of goods or services is considered a discount and is not allowable.
Allowable cost share. Cost share must be allowable and must be verifiable upon submission of the full application. Please refer to this chart for your entity's applicable cost principles. It is imperative that you follow the applicable cost principles when creating your budget for the full application. Additional information about allowable cost share. Cost share can be provided in cash and/or in kind. It can be provided by the prime recipient, subs, or a third party. Once again, note that vendors and contractors can't provide cost share because that is considered a discount. Cash contributions include, but are not limited to, personnel costs, fringe costs, supply and equipment costs, indirect costs, and other direct costs. In-kind contributions are those where value of the contribution can be readily determined, verified, and justified, but where no actual cash is transacted in securing the good or service, comprising the contribution. Allowable in-kind contributions include, but are not limited to, the donation of volunteer time, the donation of space, or use of equipment. There are forms of unallowable cost share. Some examples of unallowable cost share are items that are considered unallowable cost share. If a cost is considered unallowable, it cannot be counted as cost share. This slide provides some examples of cost share that is not allowable. Revenues or royalties from the prospective operation of an activity beyond the project period. Proceeds from the prospective sale of an asset of an activity. Federal funding or property. Expenditures reimbursed under a separate federal technology office. The same cash or in-kind contributions for more than one project or program, and vendor or contractor contributions. Cost share payments. Cost share must be provided on an invoice basis unless a waiver is requested and approved by the DOE contracting officer. Recipients must provide documentation of the cost share contribution incrementally over the life of the award. The cumulative cost share percentage provided on each invoice must reflect at a minimum the cost sharing percentage negotiated. In limited circumstances and where it is in the government's interest, the OTT contracting officer may approve a request by the prime recipient to meet its cost share requirements on a less frequent basis, such as monthly or quarterly. See Section 3.B.6 of the FOA for details. The next section we will discuss are the eligibility requirements. As previously discussed, applicants must submit full applications by 5 p.m. Eastern Time on February 3, 2021. OTT will conduct an eligibility review, and full applications will be deemed eligible if the applicant is an eligible entity under Section 3.A of the FOA, the applicant submitted a compliant letter of intent, the cost share requirement is satisfied per Section 3B of the FOA, the full application is compliant per Section 3C of the FOA, the proposed project is responsive to Section 3D of the FOA, and the full application meets any other eligibility requirements listed in Section 3 of the FOA. Who is eligible for this FOA? Eligible applicants for this FOA include domestic entities, foreign entities, incorporated consortia, and unincorporated consortia. Prime recipients must be incorporated or otherwise formed under the laws of a state or territory of the United States and have a physical location for business operations in the United States. See Section 3.A.2 for requirements applicable to foreign entities applying under this FOA. Additional information about eligible applicants. Please note that nonprofit organizations described in Section 501(c)(4) of the Internal Revenue Code of 1986 that engaged in lobbying activities after December 31st, 1995 are not eligible to apply for funding. For more detail about eligible applicants, please see Section 3A of the FOA. Multiple applications. For this FOA, applicants may submit only one letter of intent and may submit only one full application that corresponds to an eligible and compliant letter of intent. If an applicant submits more than one letter of intent, OTT will only consider the last timely submission for evaluation. Any other submissions received listing the same applicant will be considered non-compliant and not eligible for further consideration. This limitation does not prohibit an applicant from collaborating on other applications, e.g. as a potential subrecipient or partner, so long as the entity is only listed as the prime applicant on one letter of intent and full application submitted under this FOA. And now Melissa Monk will step in again with the next slides, beginning with the FOA timeline and a review of your key deadlines. Melissa?
Thank you, Steve. OTT's evaluation and selection process is shown here. Mandatory letters of intent are due by 5 p.m. Eastern Time on December 9, 2020. The deadline to submit questions about the FOA is January 19, 2021, again at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Full applications are due by 5 p.m. Eastern Time on February 3, 2021. OTT anticipates making selection notifications by April 8, 2021, with award negotiations in April and May. And now we move into the application elements. Letters of intent will be used by OTT to plan for the merit review process. In order to submit a full application, applicants are required to submit a letter of intent, or LOI. To be considered, the LOI must comply with the content and form requirements in sections 3C1 and 4B of the FOA, and the applicant must enter all required information and click the Create Submission button in OTT Exchange by the deadline stated in the FOA. The LOIs should not contain any proprietary or business-sensitive information. OTT will not provide notification of acceptance of letters of intent. Full applications. The full application includes technical volume. This is the key technical submission. Applicants submit information pertaining to the technical content, project team members, etc. SF 424, the application for federal assistance. This is the formal application signed by the authorized representative of the applicant. This includes cost share amounts and federal certifications and assurances. SF 424A is the budget and budget justification. These budget documents ask applicants to submit a detailed budget and spend plan for the project. A summary for public release. Applicants must provide a one-page summary, again appropriate for public release. And a summary slide. This is a PowerPoint slide that provides quick facts about the project. Slide content requirements are provided in the FOA. Section 4C of the FOA lists the full application requirements. Technical volume and content. The key technical component of the full application is the technical volume, which helps applicants frame the technical information on which the application will be evaluated. The technical volume provides information describing the project, how the tasks will be accomplished, and the project timetable. The technical volume is comprised of a cover page, project overview, program description, innovation and impact, project plan, technical qualifications, and resources. The technical volume must include information to adequately address how applicants will meet OTT's required applicant characteristics and regional engagement strategy plan as described in Section 1B of the FOA. Please note that the percentages listed here are suggested, not mandatory. The cover page will be a one-page document that provides basic information about the project, such as title and points of contact. The project overview constitutes approximately 10% of the technical volume and describes background, project goals, and DOE impact. The program description, innovation, and impact section is approximately 25% of the technical volume. It provides information on relevance and outcomes, feasibility, and innovation and impacts. The project plan is the key element of the technical volume and constitutes approximately 50% of the technical volume. It details the proposed milestones and project schedule. If selected for award negotiations, the project plan serves as the starting point when negotiating the Statement of Project Objectives, or SOPO. The Technical Qualifications and Resources section is approximately 15% of the technical volume. It provides applicants an opportunity to provide information about the proposed project team and demonstrate how the applicant will facilitate the successful completion of the proposed project. FOA-specific requirements. Applicants' technical volume must include information to adequately address how they will meet OTT's required applicant characteristics and regional engagement strategy as described in Section 1B of the FOA. Merit review of full applications and selection process. The merit review process consists of multiple phases that each include an eligibility review and a thorough technical review. Rigorous technical reviews are conducted by reviewers who are experts in the subject matter of the FOA. Ultimately, the selection official considers the recommendations of the reviewers, along with other considerations such as program policy factors, to make selection decisions. Full applications will be evaluated against the merit review criteria shown in the following slides. All sub-criteria are of equal weight. The technical review criteria. There are 3 criteria which we will discuss in detail in the following slides. The criteria are: 1. Technical merit, innovation, and impact at 35% of the overall score. Criterion 2, project plan at 45% of the overall score. And criterion 3, team and resources, which makes up the final 20% of the overall score. Criterion 1, technical merit, innovation, and impact. This criterion, again, is 35% of the score. The criterion involves consideration of the following subcriteria, which continue on the following slide. Technical merit and innovation. Extent to which the proposed regional engagement strategy and implementation plans and integration of collaborators is innovative and has the potential to advance the state of the sector. Extent to which the applicants specifically and convincingly demonstrate the potential to advance energy innovation clusters, and sufficiency of detail in the application
to assess whether the proposed work is meritorious and innovative, including relevant data and discussion of prior work with analyses that support the viability of the proposed work. Finishing up Criterion 1, planned outcomes. How the project supports the program objectives and metrics. The potential of the project outcomes to best advance practices among clusters and to increase commercialization rates through local and regional engagement. The strength of the project plan to promote sustained movement of energy hardware technologies into the marketplace beyond the period of performance. Criterion 2, project plan, which again makes up 45% of the score. Research, approach, work plan, and SOPO. Degree to which the approach and the critical path in the implementation plan have been clearly described and thoughtfully considered, and degree to which the task descriptions in the implementation plan are clear, detailed, timely, and reasonable, resulting in a high likelihood that the proposed work plan and SOPO will succeed in meeting the project goals. Continuing on with Criterion 2, project plan. Identification of programmatic risks. Discussion and demonstrated understanding of the key technical risk areas involved in the proposed work and the quality of the mitigation strategies to address them. Metrics and deliverables. The level of clarity in the definition of the metrics and milestones, and relative strength of the quantifiable metrics, milestone, and midpoint deliverables defined in the application, such that meaningful interim progress can be tracked and measured. And finishing up Criterion 2 project plan. The final factor here is regional engagement strategy. The extent to which the regional engagement strategy clearly reflects the elements in Section 1B of the FOA.
The final merit review criterion is Criterion 3, team and resources. Once again, this one comprises 20% of the score. This criterion involves consideration of the following factors on this slide and the next one. The extent to which the applicant meets the applicant characteristics from Section 1B of the FOA. The capability of the project director or directors and the proposed team to address all aspects of the proposed work with a good chance of success. Qualifications, relevant expertise, and time commitment of the individuals on the team. The sufficiency of the facilities to support the work. The degree to which the proposed team and available resources demonstrate the ability to facilitate and expedite further development and commercial deployment of energy and related technologies. The level of participation by project participants as evidenced by a letter or letters of commitment and how well they are integrated into the work plan. Reasonableness of budget and spend plan for proposed project objectives. And with that, EPIC Program Manager Catherine Harshani will walk you through EPIC's program policy factors. Catherine?
Thank you, Melissa. The selection official, oh wait, let me just make sure I'm on, okay. Selection factors. The selection official may consider the merit review recommendation program policy factors and the amount of funds available in arriving at selections for this FOA. In addition to the merit review criteria, the selection official may consider the following program policy factors in determining which full applications to select for award negotiations. That list begins here and continues over the next couple of slides. The degree to which the proposed project supports a technologically diverse DOE program portfolio. The degree to which the proposed project, including proposed cost share, optimizes the use of OTT funding to achieve programmatic objectives. Whether the proposed project is likely to lead to increased employment, workforce development, and manufacturing in the United States, including in low-income communities and among underrepresented entrepreneurs. Whether the proposed project will occur in a qualified opportunity zone or otherwise advance the goals of qualified opportunity zones. The goals include spurring economic development and job creation in distressed communities throughout the United States. Refer to the list of designated opportunity zones at https://www.cdfifund.gov/pages/opportunity-zones.aspx. Next, whether the proposed project will accelerate transformational technological advances in areas that industry by itself is not likely to undertake because of technical and financial uncertainty. The degree to which the proposed project directly addresses OTT statutory mission and strategic goals. The degree to which the proposed project supports complementary DOE and/or other government-funded efforts or projects, which, when taken together, will best achieve the goals and objectives of DOE. The degree to which the submission expands DOE's funding to new applicants and recipients who have not been supported by DOE in the past. And the degree to which the submission enables new and expanding market segments. And now I hand it back to OTT's Steve Palmieri to walk you through important information, including registration requirements and the submission process. Steve?
Thank you, Catherine, and thank you, Melissa. The registration requirements to this FOA. To apply for this FOA, applicants must register with and submit application materials through OTT Exchange, which is located at https://OTT-exchange.energy.gov. Once a letter of intent is submitted, a control number is issued by EERE Exchange. This control number must be included with all documents for the duration of the application process. Although not required to submit an application, the following registrations must be complete to receive an award under this FOA. A DUNS number. Obtain a Duns and Bradstreet Data Universal Numbering System, DUNS number. The System for Award Management, or SAM. Applicants need to register with the System for Award Management, called SAM, designating an electronic business point of contact, eBiz POC, and obtaining a special password called an MPIN are important steps in SAM registration. Please update your SAM registration annually. FedConnect. Applicants must register in the FedConnect system. To create an organization account, your organization's SAM MPIN is required. For more information about the SAM MPIN or other registration requirements, review the FedConnect Ready, Set, Go guide available at the FedConnect site, which is shown on the slide. Grants.gov. Applicants must register in grants.gov to receive automatic updates when amendments to this FOA are posted. However, please note that letters of intent and full applications will not be accepted through grants.gov. All required submissions must come through OTT Exchange. OTT will not review or consider applications submitted through any other means. Letters of intent and full applications must be submitted through OTT Exchange at https://OTT-exchange.energy.gov. Questions about Exchange should be submitted to EERE-exchange-support@hq.doe.gov with the FOA name and FOA number in the subject line. The user's guide to OTT Exchange can be found at https://EERE-exchange.energy.gov/manuals.aspx. Some key points about submitting an application. You should check your entries in OTT Exchange. Submissions could be deemed ineligible due to an incorrect entry. OTT strongly encourages applicants to submit their letters of intent, LOIs, and full applications at least 48 hours in advance of the submission deadline. Make sure that you hit the submit button for your application in Exchange. Any changes made after you hit submit will unsubmit your application, and you will need to hit the submit button again. For your records, print out the OTT Exchange confirmation page at each step, which contains the application's control number. Applicant points of contact. Applicants must designate primary and backup points of contact in OTT Exchange with whom OTT will communicate to conduct award negotiations. It is imperative that the applicant selectee be responsive during award negotiations and meet negotiation deadlines. Failure to do so may result in cancellation of further award negotiations and rescission of the selection. Pre-selection clarification. OTT may determine that pre-selection clarifications are necessary from one or more applicants. These pre-selection clarifications will be solely for the purposes of clarifying the application and will be limited to information already provided in the application documentation. The pre-selection clarifications may occur before, during, or after the merit review evaluation process. Information provided by the applicant that is not necessary to address the pre-selection clarification question will not be reviewed or considered. Typically, a pre-selection clarification will be carried out through either written responses to OTT's written clarification questions or video or conference calls with OTT representatives. Additionally, the information provided by applicants to OTT through pre-selection clarifications is incorporated in their applications and contributes to the merit review evaluation and OTT's selection decisions. If OTT contacts an applicant for pre-selection clarification purposes, it does not signify that the applicant has been selected for negotiation of award or that that applicant is among the top-rated applications. OTT will not reimburse applicants for expenses relating to the pre-selection clarifications, nor will these costs be eligible for reimbursement as pre-award costs. Finally, the slide shown again displays the email addresses to use for questions. For questions about the FOA, email epicfoa-ott@hq.doe.gov. Once again, the deadline for questions about the FOA is 5 p.m. on January 19th, 2021. All Q&A related to this FOA will be posted on OTT Exchange. You must select a specific FOA number in order to view its Q&A. OTT will attempt to respond to a question within 1 business week unless a similar question is already addressed on the website. If you have problems logging into OTT Exchange or uploading and submitting application documents with OTT Exchange, email eere-exchangesupport@hq.doe.gov. Include the FOA name and number in the subject line. All questions received during this presentation will be answered in the Q&A posted on OTT Exchange. Once again, Catherine will conclude with today's webinar, and thank you all for your attendance. Catherine?
Thank you, Steve, and thank you, Melissa. And thank you all for your time today and for your interest in OTT's EPIC FOA. As we close today, here again are the email addresses for any questions you may have during the process. Send questions about the FOA itself to epicfoa-ott@hq.doe.gov. If you have any questions about using Exchange, please reach out to ERE-exchange support@hq.doe.gov with the FOA name EPIC and the number DE-FOA-0002425 in the subject line. Thank you for all of your questions so far, and all questions received during this presentation will be answered in the question and answer section and posted on OTT Exchange. This webinar and slides will also be posted on OTT Exchange. Again, thank you all. This concludes the EPIC FOA applicant webinar.